Hi everyone. Um, just that there. Wait, where's the... We're doing this again. Stay. Stay. Okay. That wasn't to you, that was to the camera. I was trying to... Although, like, whatever. um, I wanted to make a video and talk about kind of where I see myself going in the future, right? Um, Even just what I had in mind, um, like 2 years ago, with where I saw, what I saw my option being. I would think with this, right? A lot of people, everyone at some point, they're like, oh, I want to be this. I want to do this. I see this for myself. I want to, go back and forth and kind of, at some point, something just becomes the obvious choice, right? Maybe. This grand generalization of everything. Um, but when I started college, I was a biology major. I wanted to do field research on animals. I wanted to observe animals. Wanted to do kind of field experiments with them, like ecology research. I mean, yeah, I'm kind of a fucking nerd. It is what it is, right? Um, and I still love that. I love the idea of that so much. Is it a realistic career path? Not really. Um, most of the people who do that research are, I mean, of course, you get grants to do research like that, right? So you write grants, get paid a bunch of money, you set up your equipment, you get the money and everything that you need. And you go and do it. And that's the thing. That's the thing that you do. It's a very ambitious thing to do. There's, I don't think there's an incredible amount of funding for it because a lot of people don't see the value in researching animals on our planet and the ecosystem that they live in because, well, we don't live in it, so what does it matter to us? I could go into so many reasons why it is important, but that isn't what this video is about. I wanted to do that. I wanted to go do field research. I wanted to study animals. Comparative psychology was kind of something I was always a little into. Still am, to be fair. But that was what I started with. That was what I strived to do when I first started college. Oh, I started with 17 credits and a part-time job. Anyone who doesn't know, 17 credits is 12 credits is full-time, which means you're expected, around 40 hours per week to get all your homework done, to do the studying that you need to do well, yada yada, all that, right? I was at 17 and a part-time job. Not smart. It was not a smart move. Pretty early on in the semester, I had to drop a class. It was chemistry. Man, chemistry messed me up, dude. Like, obviously, for that career path, I wouldn't need to know chemistry at all. But to get a biology degree, you need to do chemistry. And I don't hate it as a subject. I actually find it very fascinating. And uh, what do they call it? Like the concepts, um, the theories, and how the broader strokes, right? The concepts of chemistry and how at the atomic level things interact with each other. That stuff is very interesting to me, and I loved it. The math though, the math. Yeah, didn't me and math don't do well together. We really just don't vibe. We don't. Um, you know, you put me and math in the same room, there's gonna be problems. There's gonna be problems. Like we're not gonna beef, but uh, there's gonna be looks of confusion. I'll tell you that. Um, so dumb. Um, uh, anyway, uh, so I went through all that, dropped chemistry, um, and then, uh, you know, from that I was like, I mean, this is the entry level chemistry course, which no, it wasn't. Learned that later. That it was not the entry. It was actually college chemistry 2 that I was allowed into because my scores were so good to get into college. I was allowed into it. Um, Realistically, I shouldn't have been because I couldn't do it. Like, even if I didn't have all my time being sucked up, like I didn't have the fundamentals for it. I didn't have the basis that I needed to be able to do that class, mathematically anyway. Conceptually, but this mind up here, concepts, okay, any day of the week. You throw any concept at me, you throw me a scientific paper that has some about some weird ass concept bullshit, right? You throw me that, I can read it if it's in a language I know, which is just English, by the way. I don't know why I made that distinction. Oh man, this is a good video. Yep, this is a good one. Whew. Okay. Um, I'm like teared up. um, yeah. What was I talking about? God damn. Yeah, concepts, do it any day of the week. All right. You throw me a paper I can read. Uh, get back to you. Give me 2 3 days with that paper. I can tell you everything about it. Um, tell you everything about it. Could tell you why that paper says what it does. Could tell you the experiment that they did. You know, statistically why it works out. Yeah, I can do that. Like that's great. Um, you give me a question like balancing. I don't even remember what they call it. They did this thing in like chemical reactions, right? Because chemicals and atoms, molecules, they interact with each other in certain ways, and they can only transfer certain amounts um, because molecules want to uh, they want to be a certain way. So if there's a reaction, there's a very um, the molecules reform in very particular ways because they like being a certain way. Um, like middle-aged white men, they don't like change, right? So, Jesus Christ, man. Um, so they change in very, they don't change very much. You know, they swap things around, kind of exchange, but it stays about the same at the molecular level. Anyway, that was a lot. That isn't even entirely true. There's a lot more to chemistry than that. That's just what I got on it. I'm stopping now. So, I wanted to do field research, chemistry, failed it, whatever. And then, after that semester, what happened, man? I mean, I had a girlfriend at the time. That ended poorly. That didn't really change what I wanted for the future, though. There was some point, I think it was like 2 or 3 months after me and her broke up, I got into like a really bad car accident. I was working for FedEx delivering packages. Oh, wait. Oh, represent. Yeah. Woo, yeah. Anyway. I don't work for them anymore. I just still have this shirt. It's a really nice shirt. They have nice shirts. They have nice shirts. Anyway. Yeah, I got into a really bad car accident, and then I changed my major to psychology. And a lot of that at the time was I was like, man, I'm really struggling with this chemistry thing. Life's too short to be, I'm really good at psychology. Like, psychology just clicks, man. Psychology just clicks. Every psychology class I've taken, I mean, I haven't read these textbooks, man, but I get A's, I get B's. I don't have to do fucking anything. It's crazy. I don't know if that just means my school psychology program is ass. I mean, that might be it, honestly. But also, I've done a lot of therapy, right? I've done a lot of therapy. I have a lot of mental health struggles of my own. So, through myself, I have learned a lot of psychology, to be fair. And, I'm a very observant person, so I get people, I understand people. And again, that's psychological concepts. Psychology is all concepts, really. And until you get down to like the physical structures and like neuroscience and all that, which is it's really funny because there's not much there right now. I mean, that's a heavy area of research right now because no one really understands what's going on. No one really gets it. At least not the whole picture. I mean, it's our brains are insanely complex. We may be able to predict behaviors, and we can even elicit certain things with electrodes in the brain, which is pretty cool. How a neuron gives life to a memory, how neurons give life to consciousness as we know it, we have no fucking clue. That's just a thing that happens. Crazy, isn't it? But I switched over to psychology, and when I first did that, I thought, well, I want to be a counselor, right? I think that would be really cool. And then I worked at a place I probably well, I said the name of FedEx. Fuck it. What does it matter? I worked at YBGR, Yellowstone Boys and Girls Ranch. I worked there for about 5 months. They are a inpatient residential mental health facility for children. So, mentally ill children in a lodge, they're called, um, which function similarly to prisons. They're much more comfortable than a prison. It's pretty comfortable. It's not great. I'm gonna be honest, it's not great. But most of these kids, it's better than where they came from. And it's better than the situations they were in, for sure. Um, and they get a lot of help that they need, right? These children with mental health disorders, um, they get therapy. Um, they get constant round the clock care. Um, they get to interact with other children. Although, admittedly, those other children are also mentally ill, so it kind of, there's a little bit of exacerbation there, but whatever. I wouldn't say it's a great system, I'm gonna be honest. But there were, and the kids are there for like, usually minimum like 5 months. Minimum 5 to 6 months at a time. They're there. When I was there, right, I saw kids make real improvements. I'm not, it works, right? It really does help some of these kids. It really, really does. And it wasn't a bad job. It was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I'm gonna be honest. It was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I actually still. Am I willing to turn this camera to show this? Fuck. I guess I am. No. No. I can't just say that and then not do it. Okay. Alright. We're gonna go. Okay. Oh. So, I really hope this actually shows on the camera and doesn't just look stupid. These are gifts that I got from the kids while I worked there. And out of everything that I own, I love these things the most. And I will never forget my time there. I will never forget the names of the kids from when I worked there. Although I'm not allowed to say them legally. HIPAA, all that, right? But I know them. I know them. And that's enough. Man, I miss it. I miss it. I think about that a lot, how much I miss it. Hardest thing I've ever done. Hardest thing, most exhausting thing, most painful thing at times, even. But it was worth it. Worth every second of it. But anyway, that's what, it's such a funny, okay. But that's what made me realize maybe counselor isn't the thing that I want to do. Although now I've kind of gone back on that and I'm like, I'd be a fucking great counselor. I could do a lot of good there. And if you have proper habits and take care of yourself well and good boundaries, right? You can do it. You can keep doing it for the rest of your life, right? And that's an amazing thing in itself. But shortly after, right, changed my major psychology, that was my thing. And then shortly after, I started really thinking about research, right? And neuroscience specifically. Comparative psychology, neuroscience, and like biological um, neuroscience, cognitive neuroscience, um, that kind of field of research, right? There's a lot we don't know about the brain. It's very fascinating. I love puzzles, whatever. Um, but I will say I've never been. I don't think I felt the same love for that as I have some of these other things, right? I haven't felt the same love. I have a lot of research experience now. I love research. Honestly, the whole process is just so fulfilling and it's fun. It's fun, it's fulfilling. It drives me, right? Um, it really like lights a fire under me and it just it's a rush. But but haha, he said but. I know who you are, stop it. Um, I know you. Of course I know you. You're me. Oh man. Yeah, this is where I'm at tonight, I guess. I don't mind it. This video is starting to run long. I'm gonna wrap it up here. Um, but in long and short of it, I went from wanting to research animals in the wild to wanting to look in people's heads and help them to wanting to cut open their heads and examine it. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's a character arc for sure. That's one way of doing it. Tell you what, it's feels like a negative character arc. I don't know. This is how villains are made. Am I the bad guy? Duh. Doo doo. Doo doo doo. Man, sometimes I amaze myself. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna turn this off now before I do more dumb shit. Where's there? Nope. Okay, try looking into a camera and trying to find out where to point. Like, just looking at the camera, right? It's difficult. It's like a mirror, right? Surely you've done something like this in the mirror where you're like trying to move your hand to a certain place or like try to touch your eye or something. It's difficult. Anyway, I did a dumb thing again. I was like, I'm gonna turn this off before I do another dumb thing. Here I am doing the bye.